Good morning, Jeannie here with jeanniespapercrafts.com, and I'm here with another My Creative Time Show Me Your Technique tutorial. And for today's tutorial, I thought I would show you how I use Silhouette Studio Designer Edition to design a project using some My Creative Time stamps. So to get started, we're going to be making a standard A2 size card. So the first thing I do is I always create my card base. So if you go over here to draw a rectangle, this is just going to be a standard rectangle size. So you can draw it any size, any shape, and come up here to the scale size and change your height and width accordingly. So this one is going to be 5.5 by 4.25 and apply. So now this is my base. And I know I want my base to be black, so I fill in colors as I go along so I can see how everything fits together. So to fill in the color, make sure it's selected, go to the fill color window and make it black. And actually, we can move it right here. So this is the base of our card. Our first layer, we want to do this little scallop rectangle. So this is just a shape imported from the Silhouette Studio library. And you just go into your library and search out scallop rectangle. And of course, these are the ones I have in my library. So it's part of this assorted scallop rectangle frames. And now when you import, or when you bring these onto your mat, they come in as a group. So in order to get those apart, you have to right click ungroup. Well, actually, you have to right click release compound path and then right click ungroup. And then they'll all be separate and then you can decide which one you want. So I can select, well, I don't want to select this one. So select all the ones I don't want and click delete. This is the one that I chose. Now I also don't like this rounded rectangle in here, so I can just select that and delete that as well. So this will be the one that I manipulate the size to fit my card. But since I've already done that, I'm just going to delete it. So this is the shape that we want right here. Now I want this layer to be white, so I'll select it, fill color, and click white. And then I'll bring that, right click and bring to front, and then I'll move it onto my base. So that base is, or actually this layer is complete too. So now we can move on to our next layer, which is another just plain rectangle shape. And we'll select it, right click, bring it to the front, and it's going to fit right in the scallop rectangle, just like that. Now this rectangle, I want to add a digital pattern paper to it. So in order to do that, first off, if you've never imported a digital paper into your Silhouette Studio, all you do is go File, Import to My Library, and navigate to where your digital paper is. So I'm using some Pretty Paper, Pretty Ribbons DigiPapers. Now if you've never been over to prettypaperprettyribbons.blogspot.com or prettypapergraphics.com, you've got to check out her digital papers and her SVG files. They're really fun to cut and piece together, and the papers are super cute. So the first one, well, you can actually navigate to any of these that you want. There's a couple different ones we could put in here. I'll just add this one. And then just click OK. And it's goes to a kind of like a description window where you can change your name. You can put some keywords, a description, and who created the file. I'm not going to worry about that right now. It's probably something I should do, but I've never done it yet, so I'm just going to click OK. Now when you go over to your library button, the new imported file shows up in my own designs. Well, I don't want it in there. I've created some files that are by who created them. So I want to put this in the Pretty Paper, Pretty Ribbons Love Bug Collection file because that's where I got it from, the Love Bug Collection. And then now it's over there. Now these other two patterns are the ones we're going to be using for our card today. So I've already imported those. They're ready to go. So if we go back to our mat, I still have my little rectangle selected. So all I need to do is fill it with that pattern. So if I go up to the Fill Pattern window and I navigate, just drag my scroll bar down to the ones that I've imported, here are the 3 that I imported. And then I can click one and it's on there. And it's as simple as that. Now, we also want to fill the heart down here, and this was also imported from Silhouette Studio. I want to fill this with a pattern paper too. So select the heart, navigate to the paper that you want, and just click OK. Now this has a scallop shape around it, so that I want to be white. We'll go ahead and fill that with a white color. And then we'll select both. And right click, bring to front. And they're going to sit on our card like so. Now, the next thing we have to do is bring in an SVG file, because I know I want this tag right here. And this tag is actually an SVG file from prettypapergraphics.com. So in order to do that, you go Command O or Control O on a PC, or you can just file open, however you want to do it, and navigate to the folder that you know your SVG file is in. So again, it's in Pretty Paper, Pretty Ribbons, and it is called the Sentiment Spot Cutting Files. And then just navigate to the one that you want. I want the SVG file, and it's going to import it just like that. Now, you're going to want to do the same steps to ungroup this, release the compound path, and then ungroup. And then they'll all be separate. Delete the ones you don't want, and this is the one you're going to work with. And then you can size it, shape it, do whatever you want to it, twist it, rotate it, however you want to do it. I've already done that, so I'm just going to go ahead and close this out, and I'm not going to save it because I don't want to change the original file, but here's how I manipulated it to fit my card right here. Now, you might see that I added a little bit of a shadow, so I'll go ahead and show you how to do that. I'll delete this one. This is our main file. This is where our sentiment's going to go. So I know I want that to be white, so I'll fill it right now. But as long as my shape is selected, I just go up to the offset window and click offset. And I can change this number to whatever I want it to be. I know I want this one to be really small, so we're going to go 0.040 and then click return, and then you're done. There's your shadow. And then this shadow, of course, you can change the color. I'm going to cut it in black. Oops. Make sure you select it and then fill it with black. And then you can just line up your top layer, just like that. And if you did want these to be absolutely perfectly aligned, you could always select them both, come up to the Align window, align their center, and align their middle, and then it would be perfectly aligned. But I'm going to cut each individually, so I'm going to align it as a paper piecing anyway. It's not really going to matter to me that they're not perfectly aligned. And that is going to go right there. So now the last thing we have to do for this card is to create our little, bring in our little PNG file. So we'll Command O or open and navigate to the folder that we know that's in. Mine is in a Cherry Clip Art file, and I believe it's this Bear 6. It's this super cute little bear. It's like the cutest bear ever. So this is the one we want to play with, and it'll bring it into its own new file. And we just select it. Now, if we wanted to cut this just the way it is, when you bring it in, you click the cut window, the cut style window, and then click cut. You notice that it's going to cut this box around here. We don't want that box. We want to cut right around the shape. So we'll click no cut on that. And then we want to actually trace this little guy. So if you open up your trace window, select trace area, draw a tight little rectangle around your image. It's going to fill it in with some yellow coloring. Make sure you click off on the high pass filter and then move your threshold all the way up to 100%. And then click trace outer edge. So now we have this little trace feature. I'll Command Z and move that back. So now if we select the trace feature, now if we selected the bear and we did an offset, I'll show you. So the bear selected. If I did an offset now, I just get an offset of the box, which we don't want to do that. So Command Z to get rid of that. We need to select this little trace line. And I know it's selected because it's a little bit smaller box, but that's how I select it. Is just get as close as you can to the trace line. It's not that hard to do. You can also zoom in. It's a little easier, but Make sure you select the trace line, then click offset, and then you have your shape of the bear that you want to cut out. So this one will do probably about 0.070. Now, if we selected this and opened our cut style window, you see that there's two cuts. We don't want to do two cuts. We just want to do the outside cut. So in order to do that, we go in here and select that first little trace line and just click delete. And there we have our little bear and our one little trace line. So now this other trace line that I have, I want to fill that with white because I know that it's basically going to print white. And then if this happens, it's probably because your trace line is in front, so just click your bear, right click, bring to front, and there he is again. So that's all we got to do. The only thing we have to do now is select all and resize this to fit on our card. So all I do for that is I just right click, copy, and you can use your Command C, Command F, however you want to do it, or Control C on a PC. And oh, whoops, I don't know if I copied it. Select it all, copy, and then go back over to the file that we're working on and click paste in front. So this is going to be our little bear. Now it's a little too big for our card, so we can just change the size a little bit and move him around to where we want him. Which is probably going to be right about there. And that will be our card. This will be our finished card. So we've added some digital papers to some shapes. We've added this print and cut file. Now we need to separate these because part of these I just want to cut, part of them I just want to print. So we'll zoom back out, and I'm going to take the ones that I want to print and cut. Actually, oops. I know my base is obviously not going to cut, and which I could actually just delete that now because I don't need to cut it. I already have it all set up anyway. But this heart and this rectangle, we need to separate. So this is going to be a cut file. Actually, we need to, one more step on here. This little cute bear and its shadow, before you move it around, you need to select them both, right click and group it, so that now when I move it around, I have just one shape, like that. This is going to be cut, this is going to be cut, this is going to be cut. So now we have three little things we need to print. These three little bears these three little pieces right here. So in order to do that, we need to go up here to the registration mark settings and show our registration marks. And I usually print and cut on a letter size paper, so I changed my paper size in here too. And then now these you just line up here. You need to keep them between the red line and the gray checkered area, and then they'll print and cut just perfectly. So these three will fit on a standard 8.5 by 11 size paper, and all you'll do is you'll click here, send it to your printer, which I'm not going to print it right now because I've already printed it, and then you're going to load your paper onto your mat, put it into your cutter, and cut it out. Now, we also have these other elements right here that just need cut. So I can go ahead and take these, and I'm just going to paste them onto a new window and delete this little guy right here because we don't really need him anymore. And put on our shapes to where I'm going to have Silhouette Studio cut them. So these will all be cut in white, and this little guy will be cut in black. And make sure you're on a 12 by 12 size paper. Sometimes this changes on me. I don't know if it's a different file or what, but always make sure you're on a 12 by 12. That's the one I'm used to, so I always make sure I'm on 12 by 12. So then this, I would just line my white paper up on the top, my black paper down on the bottom. You can cut it to fit. You don't have to waste any more paper, and put it through your Cameo and cut it out. And then when you're done, you should have this super cute little card. and I will show you a picture of it when we're done. But that's the basic way that I use Silhouette Studio. I've used mostly SVG files. I do print and cut a lot, and I do import the digital papers in there because the Cameo print and cut feature is the best print and cut feature I've ever come across. So it's a great feature to have. If you can learn how to do it and you have a printer, and you don't even need a wide format printer, you can just print on standard 8.5 by 11 size cardstock. I print on American Craft cardstock. It's textured, it's white, and it comes out beautifully. I have an Epson printer. It is a wide format printer, but like I said, you don't have to have it. And then just print it, cut it, and put together a card. So those are my tips for today. I hope that I was able to show you something, and thanks for stopping by.